Hey peers, hey buddies, how are y'all doing today? I wanted to introduce to you another of the elements of art. So, here's my lovely thing. Aha! And we have talked about line, we've talked about shape. We're going to talk about color later, and we're going to talk about value later. We worked on forms when we worked in clay, and we can talk about that a little bit more later. We did texture on Tuesday this week. That's when we can feel something or we draw something the way it feels. And so we worked on drawing our favorite places and hopefully putting all of the wonderful things around us, the soft rugs maybe our favorite stuffed animals. Maybe if you're like me, you put your prickly hedgehog on there. But today I want to talk about space. That's the last one down here. It's not the last element, but that's the one that's listed right there. And what space is, it gives us the sense that something is able, it fills a void, you know? It shows how something has depth. It goes back. So we are going to work on this little thing called 1-point perspective. We're going to draw a nice long hallway, and we're doing this super simple. So if you took art in middle school, you did a far more complicated one than what we're going to do. But this is one that's fun to teach to elementary kids, and hopefully our buddies are going to enjoy it, and our peers might get a kick out of it too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle on my piece of paper. And just so that you know, I was able to make a better video before because my document camera was working. But as you can see, the whole surroundings have changed. I've moved this to my basement and I have not figured out how to hook my document camera up to my computer without a projector. I might have to go back to school to get a projector. But we're going to do the best we can right here so you guys can see what's going on. I'm going to try to draw really dark. But when you're drawing, you might want to draw a little bit lighter so you can go back and erase. So the first thing I want to do is I just found this nifty little rectangle. It's a little sewing kit actually, on the table behind me. So I'm going to use this. You can, this is going to become my door at the end of a hallway. I could put it right there in the middle of my paper. I can put it on the side. When Crystal drew this the last time, she put hers way up here in the corner, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and copy Crystal. And I'm tracing around my rectangle. You can totally be doing this on copy paper if you want to. Whee! Okay. So there, you can't see it, is my door on my paper. And I drew that really dark, and I'm kind of disappointed that it doesn't show up. You can see that I'm using a pencil. However, I am going to go ahead and flip it over into a marker. So maybe you guys can see it better. But when you're doing this, I do want you to use pencils, and then you're going to go back and color them fun. Let's see if this will work. Can we see that? Well, kind of. Let's see here. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use a straight edge. This can be the edge of your paper. I can use the edge of my paper. I can use the edge of a ruler if I have a ruler. I can use a straight edge if I have a straight edge. And this is the bottom corner of my door. I'm going to connect it all the way down here. Just like this. Whee! Now I'm going to take the corner, this corner, and I'm going to draw it down to that corner of the paper. Now there's an artist that I'm going to share with you guys. Her name is Yayoi Kusama. So there is my hallway. Now I need to make the top of the hallway too. Yayoi Kusama creates these amazing art installations, and she calls them infinity rooms. And she sets mirrors up, and she has stars. She has all kinds of really cool things inside these infinity rooms. And because of the mirrors, they look like they go on forever and ever. So right there, I have kind of my crazy hallway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a window right over here. And the top of my window is going to run parallel. It's going to run right along the edge of that line there. The bottom of my window is going to run right along there. Now there are other rules to perspective that I'm not showing you. They get more complicated. And so this is kind of a perspective project. It's a little bit off, but it'll be totally fine for our purposes. So there's the top of my window and the bottom of my window. Now, the ends of my window are going to be parallel with my door down here. So that line's going to match up to the line of my door. Whoa. And here we go again, if you guys can see that. So I'm going to make that nice and straight right there. I'm going to have to fix the lighting in my room here so that you guys can see me better. So there's my crazy window. That's a big window. And then I'm also going to just draw additional lines in here. Now, if we're working with our buddies are going to need help holding the ruler, probably in place. But we can ask them where they would want to place it, and they're going to show us, and we're going to go ahead and line it up where they would like to see it. It might not be exactly correct, but it's their vision, and that's totally fine. So, Miss Crystal, if you're listening to this, don't get upset with yourself if this is not working out the way that you want it to. So we have our crazy window there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, lines that come down from my door. They're going to be a little bit narrower down by the door, and they're going to get proportionally a little bit larger as they come out here. Now, peers, if you really enjoy this, or buddies, if you really enjoy this, a good place to go, you can Google 1-point perspective, you can Google 2-point, 3-point, you can Google 6-point perspective on YouTube, and there's lots of really great videos. So if you notice, these are narrower here. And I'm kind of bringing them down, kind of like sun rays, and they're kind of spreading out there. So I don't know if those are like wood planks, or I could color them stripes. If this is made for Lauren, maybe she's going to color these beautiful rainbows. Maybe I want to put stars on this wall over here. I can totally do that. I could put crazy swirls. Maybe I'm going to put crazy swirls on my ceiling. Because these can be like Yayoi Kusama's infinity rooms. So I'm going to continue playing with that, and then I'm going to go back in. And maybe I'm going to put a door frame down here. And I can do one of two things. I can leave the door closed and let the person who's looking at the door decide what's going to be on the other side of it. Or maybe I could do this. Now, our peers, our buddies are going to need help with this. Our peers might not need as much help. But this is the one that we made in class. And so that's where I put the rectangle in the middle, and I connected the walls and the floors. We did draw some silly lockers on this side. This one we put the window, and I have a tree, and I have some background. And what I did is I did not cut all 4 sides of my door. I just cut the top, one side, and other side. So this is still connected. And when I open my door, I put a picture behind it because I thought that was going to be pretty funny. And I think that, I had a friend who put the title of her favorite book. I think she put on there, My Babysitter's a Vampire. Had all kinds of different like little things behind the store. So you could totally do that if you wanted to. Or you can go ahead and leave that door closed. And that door can be in the center or it can be offset if you want to. There's nothing that says that you couldn't make your paper wide and put your door here and have everything connecting from there. So it's entirely up to you how you're going to do it. And I look forward to seeing what you've made on Friday. I hope you all have a good night. Well, actually, you'll see this tomorrow. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.